I'm just sitting here looking at this page with all the Ten Commandments just popping up right in front of Meliodas. This right here is so unexpected, I don't even know what to say right now. I mean, for one, I want to point out the obvious here. Scylla is alive. Yeah, Scylla is fucking alive. If you didn't notice, look at the bottom right of this page. When you see all the Ten Commandments popping up, you see like a big spread, double page spread of them. Look at the bottom right, and you see Scylla all burnt up and charred, which we know, we saw her burning alive from the inside out after what Escanor did to her. But we actually see that she is alive. Scylla is alive. Okay. But the main thing is just the charred body. Holy shit. Seen better days. Scylla's definitely seen better days. I wonder if her tongue is still like it was when, pre-Escanor, destruction. So, anyways, this chapter of Taizai, chapter 173. Oh my god, I would love to see this get an OVA or an anime. I would love to see this animated. I would love to see this beautifully animated, because this chapter, on paper, for instance, a manga chapter, the fighting was intense and so easy to follow and badass. Like, the fight picks up where last week's chapter, sorry, it's Force of Habit. Last week's chapter ended off of Meliodas slices Balor through the, chest part in his shoulder. He's behind him, and all of a sudden as he's, flying away from him and he's about to land, you see the Fairy King come up and start to try to retaliate. And this overall fighting we see in this chapter just looks so good, especially when Meliodas is fighting both of them at once, and he's incapacitating one after the other, fighting one-on-one, which that goes along with the strategy that Meliodas is doing in this chapter. So one of the main reasons why Meliodas is doing so good in this fight, which is explained in this chapter, is not that he's just overpowered, he's strong, which he is very fucking strong, and you calculate, the demon power on top of that. But, we know Meliodas is strong. We know the Ten Commandments are strong. And there's no way in fuck the Fairy King and then the, Giant King, like Balor, the King of the Giants, is going to be that weak. There's just no way. So, the way Meliodas is fighting them, it's like, he knows that they're not at full power. But also, he's taking them down one by one. For instance, he incapacitates Balor, and then he goes after the Fairy King, takes down the Fairy King, incapacitates him, and then goes after Balor once again. It's a back and forth struggle throughout this entire chapter, and you get to see that. You see, where one Ten Commandments getting up and fighting, and then they get fucking incapacitated, and one gets up and they start fighting, and then we get some dialogue showing us that, Meliodas is fighting like this. Is because one of the main reasons how he's able to do so well is because he's staying ahead of the game. He's taking one out, fighting the other, taking that one out, and fighting the other, going forth and going onward. And it's a back and forth situation. So I really like how this fighting is done. Like this entire chapter, the way Meliodas is kind of overpowering them makes a lot of sense. But the main thing I want to just point out is that, for one, the summons, the summoning of the Ten Commandments. This is something I need to question right now. Okay, all the Ten Commandments have arrived, and this is one of the most unexpected things about this entire arc, I'd have to say. I mean, this entire tournament arc has been completely insane, because, look, we had a bunch of tournaments, little battles skipped, in which it wasn't skipped like Rush, but it was just completely axed to get to the main fight. And that was the most surprising thing about this arc. Escanor going in, fighting the Ten Commandments, or weakening them enough for Meliodas can go in and take advantage of that. And then we get to see the fight ramp up between these two Ten Commandments. Meliodas is overpowering them, and we're already getting to the main course of taking these two down. But then, amongst all this fighting, before they're both completely down and out, you have it to where the other Ten Commandments, they pop up, and even Scylla pops up. And that right there just makes me question, holy shit, Nakaba-sensei, you're going leaps and bounds above what I expected from this arc. And holy shit, Meliodas, there's no way in hell he could take them all down. But we do get insight to how strong Meliodas is, which I do want to point out. We come to find out that Meliodas is so strong, if he wished, he could claim the Demon King throne. So Meliodas is that strong. At the very least, we get a power scale with Meliodas of how strong he really is. He is at the level to where he could possibly be the next Demon King. So that right there is pretty crazy, but it's to be expected, because there's been hints that, you know, Meliodas is a direct son, or maybe a descendant of the Demon King. We also know that some of the strongest Ten Commandments are the brothers of Meliodas. We already know that Zeldris and Estarossa are pretty much brothers to Meliodas, so seeing that Meliodas is on that level, it's not really a surprise, but we finally get confirmation that he is that strong. But let's talk about the situation here, okay? Meliodas, he has all the Ten Commandments there, regardless if they're at max power or not. Even if some aren't, it doesn't matter. There's no way in hell Meliodas can take down all 10 commandments by himself. Not when he has to deal with all their commandments, on top of their strength. And I mean, honestly, there's no way. Meliodas at this time is probably the only one that could fight. He is the only one that has the power to go up against, at the very least, 2 Ten Commandments at once. If, you know, Escanor was around, for instance, if he wasn't weak into where he couldn't use his power, Escanor might be able to hold off some of them, but even then, I highly doubt Escanor might be able to fight all the 10 Commandments at once. It'd be fucking ridiculous. So, the main thing I'm wondering here is, how are they going to get the hell out of this? Like, I could see to where Meliodas might either A, be captured. I could see something like that happening. I could see where Meliodas might be, you know, sealed off. I could see something like that happening. But I just don't believe Meliodas is probably going to get out of this rather easy. Unless Merlin teleports him. Now, I could see that happening. Just imagine this, and Merlin, like, has some form of teleportation ready, or someone else does, and they can teleport them out of there. I could see them teleporting Meliodas out of this fight. But even then, we have to question, how the hell did all the 10 Commandments make it there in time? How? Now, did they sense that one of their commandments were in trouble and they rushed over there real quick to help them? Or was there something else going on here that we did not know, or we were unaware of? Regardless, though, this is pretty bad, because, I mean, if it's the first thing, if the 10 Commandments got there that fast, that's scary, because that means even if Meliodas was to go to a different location and maybe find another 10 Commandment, they could all pop up and help that 10 Commandment out as well. So Meliodas would be constantly fighting multiple 10 Commandments at once. So yeah, how is he going to get out of this? Because no one else is there, really, that could stand up to them besides him. And even then, I don't think he has the strength to be able to take them all down. Nonetheless, Estarossa. I mean, Estarossa is probably on a league above himself. He's probably way above anybody else. So, yeah. Anyways, that's about it when it comes to this chapter, Taizai. It's a really simple battle-orientated chapter, but it's intense because you're left wondering, how is Meliodas going to get out of this? Where's Nakaba-sensei going to take the story next? And also, does Scylla still have that tongue action she had in the pre-chapters before Escanor wrecked her? I mean, does she still have that tongue? So anyways, you all have a wonderful day or nights wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.